the books into different languages. I personally never really was into it, although those people who read the books or the booklets that are written, if they found it to be useful for themselves to guide them towards the faith, many of them basically ended up, getting it translated. Alhamdulillah, many times I would find out later on, nobody would ask me for permission, and of course, for me, this was not an issue at all. But I would like to share with you two stories on a personal level. One was, I have a book known as Marriage and Morals in Islam, published in 1990, which was also republished in Iran by Ansariyan, my very old friend, Marhum, Rahmatullah alayhi. And then the translations which have come out in Indonesian language, in Spanish, in Italian, Turkish, Albanian. Some of them I didn't even know until I would go and visit home. Ansariyan would say, I only have 2 copies of this Albanian translation. One is for you, one is for my own record. The Spanish one was very interesting. It was in late 90s. I had gone to a conference in Tehran of the Majma' Ahlul Bayt, where people came from all over the world. There were more than about 300 delegates. After the conference, they took us for ziyarat to Mashhad. So it was a chartered flight. On the way back, I was sitting, there's 3 seats on one side, 3 the other side. So I was sitting in the aisle seat, and there was a sheikh sitting besides me in the attire of Aba and Amama, and he was white. Some Iranians are, truly white. So I thought maybe he's and everybody was talking Farsi. So then, we started talking, and he asked, "Where are you from?" I said, I'm from Canada. So he turned around and he said, "Do you know Sayyid Muhammad Rizvi?" I thought maybe, I don't know, he has a good impression or a bad impression. So I just asked him, "Why you are asking this?" He said, "Well, we group of Spanish talaba, we've been here 5 years now." So he was a Spanish, not Iranian actually. He said, "We just finished translating his book on marriage and morals in Islam into Spanish. So I said, well, you're talking to him." So he became very happy, So it was very interesting to see that, people, without asking anyone, people have been translating in different ways. The other one I would like to end that is a book called Shi'ism, Imamate and Wilayat. And, this also has been translated interestingly in Japanese, Indonesian, Spanish. Chapter 4 of that book on Ghadir has been translated to Farsi and published in a quarterly journal known as Safina in 2008. Normally all these issues are translated from Farsi and Arabic to English. This was the other way around. And also in Italian. The Japanese was very interesting for me. Others I didn't even know until they all published everything. There was a convert in US, a Japanese, who sent me an email saying that, I became Muslim many years ago, but it was your book, Shi'ism, Imamate and Wilayat, which basically tilted my inclination towards Shia Islam, and I've become Shia. So I would like to translate this into Japanese for the benefit of those who are seeking the truth. So I said, I responded by saying, brother so-and-so. It was Japanese name. There's no problem. You don't need a permission. You can translate and publish it. So the email came in response, thanking me for that. At the end, it says, by the way, this is the sister. With the Japanese name, I couldn't know whether it was a male or a female. And when it came, then later on she sent me the electronic version of it. The only thing I could see was that the second page has the English title also under the Japanese. Nothing else. Everything else is in Japanese. So somebody was telling me, how do you verify this is the exact translation? I said, well, that's not in my hand. I really don't have the means of doing that. But the point is that the Deen of Islam and the Madhab of Ahlul Bayt has its own guardian in Ghaibat. It's not me and you who are doing anything. This Madhab will spread. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has guaranteed there. The more opposition comes in, the more they come to know about Shia Islam. The phenomenon of the prison itself is there. The Wahhabis say, don't look at any book by the Shias. Even in Guyana, this is the last Friday before Ramadan. So let me just one more story of my late father. Guyana in South Africa. It is a country I was able to even visit in the 80s there. It mostly has, consists of people from Indian background and Afro-American. And those who came from India, they were Hindus and Sunnis. But no Shias there. And this is, we are talking about late 60s, early 70s. There was a group in Tehran known as the World Organization for Islamic Services, WOFIS. They used to publish many, many books, and they would circulate it around the world in different languages and free. And so they would even take the books from my father from Tanzania, reprint there in a very better, quality, typesetting and everything. And then, so his books also were circulated through them around the world. So they actually once got a letter from, because of their publications, there was a Sunni who had gone from Guyana for Hajj. And this group also used to circulate their own books among Hujjaj. This person, when he went back to Guyana, he had a nephew who was interested in studying and reading. So he said, this is a very good book about Qur'an. It was a booklet written by a Shia. He says, it's a good book, but be careful, they are Shia. Again, he's saying, when they say be careful, that actually plants the seed of inquisition there. So his name was Latif Ali. He read it, and then he asked for more publications from this group in Tehran, and some questions. So they sent the questions to my late father in Dar es Salaam, that can you, respond to that and maybe establish a communication. Those days we didn't have emails or anything, the only thing was a postal system. And so Latif Ali started sending questions about Shia Islam and this and that. Eventually he, through the correspondence with my late father, became a Shia. Historically, he is the first Shia in Guyana. There was nobody there before. And this is in early 70s. And he was so passionate about that. His family disowned him because he became Shia. But he was a school teacher, and he started Tabligh on his own. And whatever you see now in Guyana, a small Shia community, and I was able to go and actually visit them. This is the work of that one person. And my late father had never even visited Guyana. Although Latif Ali came to visit him when my father was in London for about for 4 or 5 years in one of the conference my father had invited him. That's the first time he actually met my father, and he used to say, "You are my father." You know, the way I look at you and the way even when I went and visited Guyana, the way he introduced me was very interesting. He said, "You know, all of us, we know our spiritual father is Sayyid Akhtar Rizvi. This is his real son." You know, and so again, the point is that somebody sitting in Dar es Salaam, never even visited Guyana, but had an impact of starting the movement of Shia Madhab in South America. And this is where, you know, when my father passed away, Marhum Latif Ali is also passed away now, he sent me a condolence letter with a message and poetry from some of the lines where he says that, you know, let the Wahhabis know that the lions of Sayyid Akhtar are still roaring very loud in Guyana's jungle. Ya Ali, Ya Ali, Ya Ali. So, you know, so this madhab is there. You know, we just pray to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that He gives us the opportunity to be the part of that process, inshallah. ربنا آتنا في الدنيا حسنة وفي الآخرة حسنة وقنا عذاب النار برحمتك يا